Ladies and gentlemen, this has to be the most embarrassing, pathetic, com- comical state of affairs that I've seen, perhaps that I've ever seen in my life. We have a balloon, a let's just say an aircraft or spacecraft or balloon or um, surveillance craft hovering above the United States of America, a spy balloon, and we don't know what to do. It's 90 seconds to midnight, and this is an absolute catastrophe for a number of reasons. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Trump for life. Hello, thank you. Indy Joy, Eric, Rinsler, everybody here. Thank you so very, very much. This is the most embarrassing state of affairs. And it's really unbelievable because you would think that the military or the Air Force or Biden or the State Department or the Pentagon or the Department of Defense or the tens of billions of dollars we spend in intelligence would have prepared us for this moment. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, to my super chat. I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. To my super chat, thank you so very, very, very much. And so you have a situation where that is true, Rinsler. That could be the case. It's very bizarre. None of the reasons they're saying for why they're not destroying it makes any sense. The interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, and to my super chat, thank you so much. I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just go ahead and read this because, I mean, you have Hunter and Joe in all their business deals in China. You have fundraising, you have Democratic congressmen embroiled, Dianne Feinstein, Swalwell. You had a whole bunch of Democrats embroiled in very shady and corrupt fiascos pertaining to fundraising in that country, espionage also. But here, let's just read CBS News. Suspected Chinese spy balloon drifting over U.S. has surveillance parts as big as multiple buses. China acknowledged Friday that a high altitude balloon spotted this week over Montana does in fact belong to Beijing, but it referred to the airship as a civilian device, quote, used for scientific research such as meteorology. This is nonsense. This is, of course, nonsense. It is a surveillance, it is an aircraft that is meant to gather surveillance, and it's doing so right in front of the world. They have, here's the thing. I'm against never-ending military conflict. I don't view China as, this mortal adversary at all. They're a geopolitical rival, especially in the Pacific, or the South China Sea, I should say. They might invade Taiwan. They probably will. And this would never have happened under Trump. Okay. Notice how Democrats don't like Trump, but they kept his tax cuts and they kept his tariffs. But they didn't keep his foreign policy, which is why we have an invasion now in Europe and we're at 90 seconds to midnight. But here, I'll just read this again. China acknowledged Friday that a high altitude balloon spotted this week over Montana does in fact belong to Beijing, but it referred to this airship as a civilian device used for scientific research such as meteorology. This is, of course, nonsense. It's flying over nuclear facilities and military bases, and it's doing so It's basically saying we do not care what you think. We're going to do so in your face. And again, I don't want a military confrontation because they have nuclear armament, but we can destroy it. We have every right to, and we should. There's no reason why we shouldn't destroy this. There's no reason at all. Okay, a senior defense official, they say, well, civilian, it's flying over, first of all, it's flying over mountainous territory, uh, regions of Montana, for example, that are just like mountains and you know, there aren't people in a lot of the area that's flying over. But here, the payload of the balloon, that is the part under the balloon conducting the surveillance, is the size of 2 to 3 buses. Okay. According to a statement by the Chinese Foreign Ministry, the airship was affected by the westerly wind and its ability to control its direction is limited. The statement also says that the balloon seriously deviated from the scheduled route and expressed regret the airship strayed into the United States due to force majeure. I think hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't. There's no way that this is not on purpose or strategic or by design. The issue here is, why is this taking place? Marine vet mom! Pentagon just confirmed a second spy balloon over Latin America. That's right. That's right. Colleen, why don't we send them a balloon? Because they would destroy it immediately. Marine vet mom, thank you. And God bless your family and thank you for everything, your service to this country. Thank you. Marine vet mom, thanks so. Pentagon just confirmed a second. That's right. I just read that also right now. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. It really is unbelievable. And it's kind of like they're telling the world, and this is not like, again, I don't want a war or some kind of never-ending conflict like you would, like the obsession Democrats had with Russia. Okay, I don't want that. But we have the right to destroy it. It's in our airspace. It is not by accident, it's by design. It's to gather intelligence, or it could be doing something nefarious. I'm not going to go into all the things, the insidious or nefarious things that it could be up to, but it doesn't take much of an imagination. Um, you have this spacecraft or this aerial craft flying within our airspace. They have no right to do this. They would consider it an act of war if we did that over Beijing, for example. And rightfully so. And by the way, I have no animus, I have no disdain um, for China at all. In fact, in a way, I respect the bravado or the kind of in your face element to all of this. I look at things the way I look at things. I look at foreign policy now, the way it's being conducted in this respect, as if you don't want them to get to dance in the end zone, stop them from getting into the end zone. So it's the Miami Hurricanes, the '90s Miami Hurricanes mentality. You can't be upset with them, okay? I mean, there are human rights abuses and all of that, terrible human rights. Democrats have been. I mean, you can look right here. Democratic super PAC hits jackpot with company stock. Okay. Center for Public Integrity. Then you have more money than God, Chinese Titan, lavish hunter with 3 carat gem offer of $30 million. They had a $1.5 billion or $1.2 billion deal. There was like $1 billion deal they had, the Bidens, that they were working on. So this is just one example. And if you noticed, our response to you know what was similar It always coincided with the response of the most populous country in the world. So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where this is a very, very bizarre state of affairs. If it was Trump, they would be, oh my God, Trump, Trump, he's allowing balloons over the country. Marine Vet Mom, thank you again. Thank you, Marine Vet Mom, thank you. So it's like, let's read this. What was I just reading? Okay, yeah. So by Friday morning, the balloon was no longer over Montana, but had moved over the Midwest and is now over the middle of the country, according to you, to a U.S. official. uh, a Chinese balloon has never been in the middle of the country before. The only other time this balloon has flown over the continental U.S. was during a brief overflight of Florida. There have been overflights of Hawaii and Guam. In previous instances, the country has been able to recover the balloon. Although it can maneuver, it will still travel in the direction it is carried by jet stream. The balloon was flying at an altitude of 66,000 feet. It can be maneuvered, but is subject to jet stream, which could eventually push it out of U.S. airspace. They should have immediately destroyed this. I mean, if there's information that from what I know, maybe Biden made the right call. I could be wrong. Biden made the right call, but they should have immediately destroyed this. And then I'm not speaking. You're talking. I'm voting. I vote for Trump because we don't have to get into these situations. Not only is there an invasion in Europe under Biden, but now we have to deal with this. They could invade Taiwan, China, but now we have to deal with this. This is so bizarre. Later in the day, the National Weather Service in Kansas City tweeted that it had received several reports across northwest Missouri of a large balloon visible on the horizon. We have confirmed that it's not a weather balloon. So he noted his projections. The balloon is a passive tracer, not being controlled. I don't know about that. We have intelligence agencies that are obsessed over Trump because they're extensions of the Democratic Party. Norman Smith, FAA regulates toy drones, but spy balloons, okay? Exactly. Yes, they do. That's right. They do. Um, the U.S. views the Chinese explanation of balloons with a fair amount of skepticism. Gee, you think? And it's still trying to figure out what China's intent was. But you have 30, we have tens of billions of dollars. The intel community is obsessed over Trump. They can't figure out. It's like having like Mary Poppins invade us with this balloon, or like Willy Wonka. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We're 90 seconds to midnight. There's an invasion in Europe. They might invade Taiwan. There's a spy balloon just nonchalantly flying over our country. And Trump was a menace to democracy. Ah, Trump! This would never have happened under Trump because it would have been destroyed immediately. But Biden, we know almost certainly, you want to talk about somebody compromised, you couldn't find more compromised people than Democrats. Trump is definitely not compromised. You see that everything that he was accused of was completely fabricated. And he imposed tariffs. He imposed tariffs. Democrats said, "Oh my God, don't do that. It's terrible." We have record highs in household median income, record low in poverty. The tariffs did work. And you want to know how we know? They haven't reversed them. They've still this Trump tariffs, the tax cuts, we still have them. Metallic medium, yes, but there's still other ways. I don't want to I don't have the knowledge of somebody in the Air Force, but I do know that there are other ways to destroy it. So you don't have to have an aircraft fly up there with it. Um, the balloon is not going to run out of fuel since it has solar panels. The balloon is not going to run out of fuel since it has solar panels. If this was Trump, oh my God, Trump, the Trump balloon, we're being invaded. Trump allowed this country to invade us. But with Biden, I was listening to ABC News, like Pentagon officials are saying that uh, there could be an issue with intelligence gathering. Gee, you think? You think there's an issue? Boy, Biden's administration is really they're really on top of things. You think maybe there's an issue with intelligence gathering? It's a balloon with I think probably a million cameras. You think maybe that they're just like, coincidentally flying over nuclear facilities in Montana? Gee, what a coincidence! How did that happen? I mean, it's unbelievable. It is. This is so hilarious. I mean, it's just there's such comedy to this. They're doing this for a purpose. Okay, so the purpose is either gathering intelligence, or I mean, it's definitely gathering intelligence, but it's like it's like you have to ask yourself, number one, why did we have this intel agents community that has been obsessed over Trump and completely gets blindsided and stunned and you know like unaware of these things. They're constantly unaware of this. U.S. is engaged with China. The U.S. is engaged with China. What is there to engage with? And President Biden has been briefed on the situation. Oh, good. He'll take a moment away from his eating of vanilla ice cream. Chinese official was summoned to the State Department for a formal for a formal U.S. complaint. It's basically a it's a show to the world. This is the thing. I am not into retaliation or like for example, if it's unmanned, what is the problem? If nobody is going to lose their life, if it was like manned, yes, I wouldn't be so quick to say destroy it. No, I wouldn't want to destroy it if it was manned. But if it's unmanned, what's the problem? I don't get it. I just don't understand what the issue is. They say, well, civilian, you want to protect civilians, but it's flying over territory. It's not like throughout the U.S. There's like vast regions where there's just bears and like wildlife, and Montana is an example, and it's over nuclear facilities. This should have been a national security issue. We shouldn't even be talking about this now. It should have been, oh, we took care of this balloon. Joel Valdez let Orange Menace launch a balloon across the country, and the former speaker would bring it down. Pelosi and her husband would like, get into a spacecraft, and it would be like Buck Rogers, or no, it would be like Battlestar Galactica. Beady beady beady. It'll be like Battlestar Galactica. Joel Valdez, thank you, Joel. Norman, thank you. Marine Vet Mom, thank you. Thanks everybody. My super chat, thank you. Cyan, hello. Hello, Cyan. I hope all is well. Thank you. Um, the balloon is not moving very fast. Silos so that can house intercontinental ballistic missiles located in Montana, and jet fighters were scrambled to be in a position to destroy the balloon. The U.S. has been tracking the balloon for quite some time. Then why did they let it fly into the country? There's no way to find out if the balloon is emanating or like releasing something into the air. So that's a problem. We'll leave it at that. It could be a big problem. I love how the system, I mean, McCarthy is right. This is an example of where you have to be principled. You cannot just let another country's spy balloon fly over your airspace. If it's unmanned, I don't want a military conflict over this. But if it's unmanned, what is the issue? You just destroy the balloon. What's the problem? I don't get it. I don't get this at all. So I oppose Lincoln Project foreign policy and never ending military conflict. That's the greatest threat we have in the world. Much more important than, the issue with the planet or the climate or whatever. The environment. I'm trying not to say the two words, but China's brazen disregard for U.S. sovereignty, destabilizing action must be addressed, and President Biden cannot be silent. I'm requesting giving a briefing. Breaking: the Pentagon has spotted a surveillance balloon over U.S. skies. This is the most hilarious. Marine Vet Mom! Okay, the Pentagon stated the balloon will be over our airspace for a few days and that minor incursions will be tolerated. What? I know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Rinsler hit giant egg. It is unbelievable. Exactly. .com. Well, I don't know if the drones go that high, but yeah, it is. There's other ways. There has to be other ways. Marine Vet Mom, great point. It's really unbelievable because this is something that you couldn't even make this up. I mean, you really couldn't make this up. You just couldn't make this up. This is such an embarrassing moment. It's a complete and utter disregard, not only for sovereignty, but Democrats like to use the word rule of law. This is not lawful. You can't just send a spy balloon over another country's. Any other country would have already blown. Any other country would have already destroyed it. And here we have a situation where, again, the intel agencies have only focused on Trump because they've been extensions of one political party. And we're now caught off guard with this. And there's no way that there's not some kind of strategic national security, strategic importance. There's strategic importance to this for the most populous country in the world. It's not just an accident. So the Atlantic. So the Atlantic is always trying to justify the indefensible. Why the U.S. hasn't destroyed the spy homeland and demand different responses. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't always demand different responses. The only reason, by the way, we Biden's administration admitted to the balloon is because people were taking pictures of it, saying, "Okay, what is this?" So now they're like, Biden's doing the right thing. The balloon is not an immediate threat. How on earth do you know this? How on earth do you know this? So they could just take like a million pictures of military bases, nuclear facilities, even if they're underground or hidden. You just want to take them, like you're just going to let them take a million pictures, and who knows what else? There's the Geospatial Agency, National Geospatial Agency. That was one of the. They take like thermal and all these different types of satellite photos. Let's see, thermal satellite imagery. So there's all these different there's all these different things that the spy balloon could do. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand this. Marine vet mom, thank you. GPS exactly. Quinn, hello. And we definitely need Elon Musk. Yeah, maybe what has he said about this? So of course, damage control. In this case, two things appear to be true. The balloon is not an immediate threat. Wrong. And the balloon cannot remain over our skies indefinitely. That is not any consolation. There's no consolation in reading that. A lack of clarity about how U.S. plans to resolve those two propositions, including with destroying the balloon, isn't necessarily harmful. What? A lack of clarity is definitely harmful. By exposing the balloon's existence, the administration put pressure on China to de-escalate the issue. What? They have not put pressure on China. They have not done anything other than acknowledge that there's a balloon over the country. This is they're running up the. This is the thing. I don't want a military conflict with any nuclear country, or especially or any country at all. I'm against. Like God bless the men and women of the U.S. military and United States Armed Forces and Marine vet mom. God bless you and your family. I don't want Americans to be sent overseas to counterinsurgency conflicts ever. But this is like not a big deal. Born to raise Hawks. Thank you. Thank you. It's in our own airspace, exactly. This is an issue of sovereignty, which Democrats don't care about at all. Um, this is hilarious. If this was Trump, there would be no way this article would be published. This morning, Beijing said in a somewhat conciliatory statement, "Oh, that's good. Regrets unintended injury. It was completely intended." The State Department knows how to use language. No, it doesn't. Tellingly, he did not cancel his visit, but merely delayed it. The runaway got a little longer. What? The runway got a little longer. This is of course the Atlantic completely embarrassed. This is a national security embarrassment. And everything Biden does, you have bumbling Blinken, and Jake Sullivan, and all these people. They're like stumbling, bumbling imbeciles. And they said that Trump was a lunatic. Oh my God. This would never have happened with Trump. Trump presided over peace deals. First president to step foot in North Korea, Doha Agreement that Biden basically botched. I mean, he was forced to bring home Americans, thank God. But those 13 Americans should be alive today. Those over 100 Afghans should be alive today. Biden goes ahead, uses literally our mortal adversaries, the greatest enemies we have on the planet, to help us leave. That was not part of the agreement. Okay, it was a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal. So it's like born to raise hogs. Thank you again, LG. I agree. I mean, it's a brazen, overt disregard for national security, sovereignty. This would not be like there's nothing militant or nationalistic or, you know, if you want to use the term, these are terms that like they try to always brand Trump with, even though he's actually the anti-war candidate. Um, jingoism. There's this is not an example. You know, it's just you have this. It is flying above our airspace. Complete disregard for sovereignty. Born to raise hawks. Thank you as always, Norman. FA failures on 9. Oh, that's right. Well, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure about that, Norman. I don't know. I think that we were caught off guard in a number of ways. Again, the intelligence agencies were completely caught off guard. This reverence for intel agencies. It's like you have this reverence. Democrats have this reverence for intel agencies, and the intelligence is lacking big time. Big time. All right, let's see here. Pentagon tracking. Why would they be tracking it? Why don't they? It's like they said, well, we're worried about civilian. It's like, no, there's a reason other than destroying it. Would be a lot harder than it sounds. Former Navy pilot. So the altitude is an issue. But so you can't get this balloon because you don't want to miss with a missile. That's what they're saying. Exactly. Any foreign object entering American sovereign space without permission should be immediately destroyed. I agree. Said you, a senior fellow. I agree. Of course, this is an advisor to Trump. And the answer is, oh, well, it's a civilian aircraft meant for, it's like a weather balloon. It's just unbelievable. Rinsler reminds me of the 1930s testing the waters in our responses. I agree with you on definitely testing, and we are failing the test. We are definitely. Thank you, Rinsler. Thank you, Rinsler, as always. Definitely a fail. It's pretty unbelievable too because you know the Pentagon also tracks Santa Claus at Christmas. Norman Rinsler, it's. Ain't you? There's no difference between who we are stunts. No, I agree with you, Lewis. I agree with you. The two parties, yes, there's not much. Well, the Trump Republicans do not want never-ending military conflict. Trump doesn't. I know, like, there's a bunch of Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and others. They don't want to send Americans overseas to never-ending counterinsurgency conflict. The Republicans, the never Trumpers and Democrats are the same. They are definitely the same. There could be some similarities between the Trump Republicans and the never Trumpers here and there, but really the never Trumpers and Democrats are the same political party. I agree with you. I agree with you, Lewis. I agree with you on that. But I do think that the I think the Trump Republicans, the more populist Republicans, do not want the same military. See, here's the thing: Trump. Here's the difference between Biden and Trump. Biden would send Americans anywhere on the planet tomorrow if he was told to do so. Trump would not, but Biden would allow this balloon to just go on its merry way forever without destroying it, and Trump would destroy it immediately. And he would be like, let's negotiate a new trade deal after he destroyed it. They are smart. Dark meta, they are smart. And Rinsler, I agree with you. They are testing and we're failing the test, but also they're also deriving information. There is a reason for this. They're not going to take this. They're not going to take this. Um, this is a risk for them. Okay, it's a risk. It's a calculated risk, and they're doing it for a specific purpose. They're doing it for a specific purpose, and you know, it's obviously intelligence gathering because that's what these balloons are. Why the U.S. hasn't destroyed? Okay, here we go. Risk reward. Suddenly we're talking about risk reward. Before it was do this, you must do this at all times. And now it's risk reward. There is no reward to not finding some way to destroy it. So the first question, does it pose a threat? Again, it's not a matter of that. They're deriving intelligence. This is actually the Steele dossier was not intelligence. This is actually intelligence. They're actually gaining information that they needed. Okay, and it's not like the information is real time, so they almost certainly are able to relay the photos. Like if you destroyed it, they China would still have all the intel that needed. So they're just emailing, however, they're just relaying the information real time to the intel agencies in that country. U.S. official, this isn't like Top Gun where it just goes away. It's large and it's metal and it would put hundreds of Americans at risk. No, it wouldn't if you destroyed it in a place that wasn't inhabited. If it was just over forest or trees or a mountainous region. It's like, it is unbelievable. It's just really unbelievable. Rinsler, thank you. Rinsler, thank you again. Can target fast moving nukes, can't target slow moving balloons, Clown. Exactly. Exactly. Rinsler. When we had the SR-71, that's right. They all tried to engage it. It was too fast, not us. Balloon too slow. That's right. The SR-71. That's right. If you grew up in the 80s, definitely. Hold on, SR. Um, so hold on one second. SR-71. Uh, so we have. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. But they have a balloon, so like you said, Rinsler. Ah, nice. Nice. Look at that. Three times the speed of sound. 2,200 miles per hour. Wow. Wow. That is pretty nuts. Winslow, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. That's right. SR-71. The thing is also, Biden doesn't really have any he doesn't have a vision of where he wants the country to be. There is no vision. He has no vision. Trump had a vision. People didn't like it because it was Trump. Thank you, Rinsler. Thank you very much, as always. Yeah, I mean, such complete impunity. World's fastest, we say the world's fastest plane. Mm. Wow. So you have this, and this has been going on for a long time. I mean, this is a 1998 article. Chinese army funds went to Democrats, donor says. So, but then you have here, I mean, you think maybe this is taking place, two countries that the Bidens are embroiled within, and we have issues, or there are issues with both of them. The one being invaded, and the one that has the Mary Poppins balloon over our airspace. Thank you, Rensler. Thank you. So, exactly. Orange Man, not so bad. My God, we need Orange Man. We need him badly. This is embarrassing because they're deriving intelligence. See, this you would need counterintelligence. This is why you have an intel agency. You have all these intel agencies to prevent foreign balloons from obtaining endless intelligence. Okay, in your own airspace. There's a problem with that. This is an in your face. it's not a matter of, this isn't a matter of, for example, I'm not saying, nor would I ever advocate Americans be sent anywhere in the world, because I do not want Americans sent ever anywhere. Okay? This is about destroying an unmanned spacecraft or, you know, aircraft. And you're continuing to just let them do exactly what they want in terms of deriving as much intelligence and information and photos as they want. That's a big problem. That is a huge problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I will have another. I'll have another segment on this probably around 8:30 p.m. tonight. So please go ahead and be here in about 2.5 hours, and I will see you in about 2.5 hours. Everybody, Rensler, Marine Vet Mom, everybody here, thank you so very much. Norman, everybody, thank you. Born to Raise Hogs, as always, thank you. Marine Vet Mom, thank you so very, very much. I'll be back, everybody. And Indy, hello. And be here at like around 8:30 p.m. Pacific tonight, okay, everybody? HK, hello. Um, Eric, I'll see everybody here at around 8:30 p.m.